Hey, what's happening, everybody? What's happening, cyberspace? What's happening, Facebook? Hope you all are doing well. It's late. It's almost 11 p.m., but I'm showing up. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. And here's another episode of Motivational Moments with Dr. Marcus. Motivational Moments with your man, Dr. Marcus. And in case you were wondering, Dr. Marcus, that's me. But anyway, I got my Apple here. Just want to share a few things with you this evening. I got to step out in a minute, so hopefully I can do this real quick, but we'll see what happens. But I want to talk about two things today. And the first thing I want to talk about is lessons, life lessons that we can learn from the NBA playoffs. You preachers out there who don't like sports, I declare God must really speak to you all. God must really, really, really be speaking to you all. Those of you preachers and even those of you speakers, whether conference speakers or motivational speakers or something like that, you all must really, really, really be very creative, and God must really speak to you all. Because if you don't like sports and you have to relate to people, man, and you have to try to teach people something, man, let me tell you, it is so easy to extract lessons from sports. And let me tell you how easy it is to extract lessons from these particular playoffs. And to be very specific, the Western Conference Finals. Let me just tell you, two very important lessons. First of all, one very clear lesson that we can take from the Western Conference Finals is something that Dr. Eric Thomas, the E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, always says, and I take it to heart every single time. Winners win and losers lose. And it's one thing to go up in a series 3-1. There's a lot of people who can do that. There's a lot of people who can look like they can be dominant for 4 games or for 3 out of 4 games or something like that. But when it comes time to close the deal, winners are the ones who close the deal. Losers cannot close the deal. And not to say that the Oklahoma City Thunder are losers, but they're not used to winning. They have not won the ultimate prize before. Nobody on that team, as far as I know, looking up and down their roster, has won the NBA title before. Only their coach has won a title, but that is at the collegiate level. Now, they still have the opportunity to win a title or two some years from now if Kevin Durant decides that he wants to stay with the organization. And I personally think that he should, and I think that they have a golden opportunity to get something done in the next few years if they all stay together. They hone their craft a little bit more and become a little bit tougher mentally. But winners win and losers lose. And losers, just from the standpoint of when you win, winning rubs off on you. When you are a person of excellence, and when you're around people of excellence, excellence rubs off on you. You have no choice but to be excellent at what it is that you do if you hang around excellent people. Jim Rohn says, or I should say said, because he's not living anymore, but one of his most famous quotes, Jim Rohn, great motivational speaker, great teacher, he says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I truly believe that. So who are your 5? Who are you hanging out with? Are they uplifting you? Are they people who have experienced winning? Or are they people who have not experienced winning? Are they people who not only are used to losing, but are comfortable losing? And are comfortable having a losing attitude, and are comfortable keeping you in a losing attitude. So who are your 5? And that's one lesson that we can take away from that. The winners of the Oklahoma City Golden State series, the winners of that series were experienced in winning. They had done it before, and they did it again. Winners win and losers lose. Now, the next lesson from that is maybe not as obvious as the first. And the second lesson is this. I know today, with social media, and I tell you all the time, I love social media. I do this to a great extent for a living. You know what I'm saying? I study this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I try to execute it the best I can for churches and for entrepreneurs, for myself. But by the same token, this whole social media thing, it really gets us in trouble, and it forces us to think that we have to have a hot take. It pressures us to have an opinion and to have such a clever opinion and put that thing on Facebook immediately, you know what I'm saying? And we can have people validate us, which I'll talk about in a minute. And we can have people, thumbs up us and appreciate us for what we're saying. But sometimes we have to take a step back and really assess what we're looking at. And maybe that means not waiting, or maybe that means waiting a few days and not being so quick to have that hot take. The example, again, was in this series. When Oklahoma City was up 3-1, everybody had a hot take about how great Oklahoma City was, and about about how this was their time. And not only was Oklahoma City going to go to the finals, but they were poised to beat Cleveland. This was finally going to be the year for KD. This was finally going to be the year for Russell Westbrook. Okay. Am I back? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I was saying that because we want to be validated on social media, and like I said, I'm going to talk more about that validation piece in 2 seconds. But because we want to be validated on social media so much, we are pressured to have a hot take on whatever it is that's going on. And sometimes we just have to take a step back, and we have to realize that we need to wait until something ends before we come with our opinion, before we come with a think piece, before we come with that hot take, before we come and really speak out of turn. And I know you all are familiar with the phrase, I'm going to reserve judgment, or I'm going to reserve my comment for later on. I think that that's a wise position to take, especially when you're watching sports, because you can take a team, or you can take an individual to the brink of elimination, but the difference between the brink of elimination and actual elimination can be a very wide gap, depending on who you're facing and depending on the heart of the person you're facing and their mental toughness or lack thereof. And so I did not want to say anything about that Oklahoma City Golden State series until it ended, because I knew that until there were 4 zeros or 2 zeros, however you want to look at it, on the clock in the fourth quarter of the final game, and Golden State was down, that was the only time that I was going to declare Oklahoma City the winner. Now, maybe you can tell, but I am a Golden State fan. This is not me just being a bandwagoner or anything like that. Maybe you think it is. Of course, through and through, I am a Detroit Pistons fan. Always have been, always will be. But as for right now, Oklahoma City next to the Pistons is my favorite. Oklahoma City. Golden State next to the Pistons is my favorite team to watch. In fact, I fell back in love with the NBA because of watching Golden State and how they approach the game and how much fun they have and how smooth they look playing the game of basketball. And I really do appreciate how much of a high level at which they play the game. And so we just have to be mindful of that sometimes. Sometimes we don't need to express our take until a little bit later on. And we need to accept that, and we need to I know that people on ESPN and Fox Sports 1 and these different stations, whatever, and on sports radio, they get paid to have their takes, and they get paid to give them real time, and even if they're wrong, even if they have egg on their face or their foot is in their mouth, by the time all is said and done, well, they get paid for putting their opinions out there. How many times has Skip Bayless been wrong in the past about the different things that he's thought very strongly about? but he's not going to get penalized for it. In fact, he's going to make more money because of how he delivers what it is that he's saying rather than what he's actually saying. I hope somebody catches that. Skip Bayless makes the money that he makes because of the confidence and the bravado and the fervor with which he offers his opinions on things, not the accuracy thereof. So whatever it is that we believe, we have to be confident about that, because that is what's going to take us to the next level. We're not necessarily going to be right all the time, but we do need to be confident, and that's something that we absolutely can do. And now to my second point, and I'm going to be very brief with this because I need to go. Can we stop acting like we all don't need some kind of validation when we're on social media? And this is not me slamming anybody. This is not me bad mouthing anybody, because I know that I need validation sometimes when I'm on social media. I know that some of the posts that I put on there, that's because I need somebody to validate me and what I'm saying. Sometimes I need somebody to tell me that it's going to be all right. Sometimes I need somebody to tell me to tell me that it's going to get better, and I need a thumbs up sometimes. I need somebody to like my post. I need somebody to love my post sometimes. Sometimes I just need somebody to share, and that's why I put it on social media. I feel like if we don't need anybody to validate what it is that we're saying from time to time, then we wouldn't say anything on social media. I don't think we would, unless we were using social media solely for marketing. And then you still have a message that, and you have a product or you have a service that people will validate with their wallets, that they will validate by hiring you for your services. So at the most basic level, we all need some kind of validation from social media. I was just thinking about that because I see a lot of people post from time to time, and this is not directed toward any one individual. Please hear me when I say this, but I see a lot of people with the statuses sometimes, and they say, you know what, I don't need anybody to validate me. I love myself, and only God can judge me, and the God's validation and God's love is the only love that I need. And I agree with you when you say God's love really is the only love that you need. And yes, you absolutely need to love yourself. And I'm not saying that anybody doesn't love him or herself. First of all, that's not a determination for me to make. Secondly, I have my own issues that I'm dealing with, so I couldn't dare tell someone else that they do or do not love themselves. My issue is when we say that we don't need anybody to validate us. I think that we be very honest with ourselves. A lot of times we absolutely do need people to validate us. And you know why? Because as human beings, we were naturally created to thrive in community. And when we're in community, that means we come into a common unity with other people based on our ideals, our principles, our likes, our dislikes, our backgrounds. And so we need to be validated in those different things. And we gravitate toward a community, and we form community with people who validate us. Now, they're not going to validate us all the time, because in a true community with people who really love us, they're going to be people out there who, people within that community who have the courage to be able to approach you if they have a problem with something that you're doing or something that you're saying. If I'm not being consistent in my life, if I'm not being consistent in my walk, or if I'm not representing Christ with the words that come out of my mouth, I desperately need somebody to come to me and call me out on my BS. All right. I need that. I need somebody to do that. I'd rather have somebody let me know, Marcus or Pastor or Dr. Kyler, whatever you want to call me. Look, man, what you're saying right now, that's some BS. All right. I need that, because what I want to give to you in this platform, and what I want to give to anybody just in regular conversation, I want to be real. You know what I'm saying? I know no other way to be than to be myself. And if being myself is somehow coming off as inauthentic, I need to be the first one to know. I need somebody to, I need somebody to holler at me. I need somebody to pull me off to the side and be like, look, Mark, man, you're not getting it done. And those people are the ones who are your true friends. Your true friends are the ones who had the courage to really get at you when you're not acting right. The ones who really have the courage to get at you when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, when you're not being authentic, when you're not being true to your core values. And so you need those kind of people in your life. And so when that happens, when you have people in your life who are not afraid to be critical with you and give you constructive criticism, then no, they're not validating you necessarily. They're not validating what you're saying per se, but they are validating you and affirming you enough as a person, as a human being, to really be honest with you and tell you where you're messing up and what you need to do a little bit better at. But they also congratulate you when you're doing right. And so I'm calling shenanigans on those who post on social media talking about I don't need validation for anything, especially when we post selfies and things like that. We absolutely need the validation when we post selfies. I'm gonna say it. I don't care who gets upset or whatever. We absolutely need validation when we post selfies. Yes, you may be confident. You may have all the confidence in the world, but don't tell me that if you put a selfie out there and 100 people like your selfie, don't tell me that that's not going to make you feel good. Don't tell me that that's not going to make you feel beautiful or make you feel more handsome or more debonair or whatever. That's going to make you feel good to be validated. And that's going to release something in you. I don't know if endorphins is the correct term there, but it's going to release something in you that that's going to be tangible in your life, and that's going to help you because of that validation that you got from all those likes or from people leaving comments. Hey man, you look good. Oh man, or give you that fire emoticon. You know what I'm saying? Whole bunch of flames, or put a couple 100s there, or however you communicate to somebody that they're really looking good, or whatever that looks like to you. We need a validation. So let's not fake the funk. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's be real with one another and admit. You don't have to admit it to me, but at least admit it to yourself. We all need validation when we post things on social media. Because if we didn't need validation, we would never post anything on social media. Facebook would be a dry desert. It would be a basin. It would not be a place where anybody would say much of anything, because everybody would feel totally validated within themselves, totally comfortable in themselves, and feel comfortable leaving their thoughts in their own mind. So I just wanted to say that. Like I said, this is not me judging anybody or being mad at anybody. It was just an observation that I made, and I'm about to shut this off, but you're free to leave a comment, free to share it with somebody else, and maybe they'll have something to say about it, or you could feel free to inbox me. We can dialogue further about this, but just something I wanted to share with you all. I hope you all have been blessed on this evening. I'm about to get ready to go. Got to handle some business real quick before bedtime, but just want to leave you with this quote. Again, from Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. It's one of my favorites. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Oklahoma City wanted to be a beast, but when it was time to do what beasts do and close down the series and do what they need to do to get to the NBA Finals, they were unable to do so. Whatever goals you have set in your life, you have goals of being a beast. You have goals to beast whatever your work is, to beast whatever your assignment is, to beast your schoolwork, to beast your academic course of study, to beast your family life. You have aspirations to be a beast in those areas. But when it's time to do what beasts do, when it's time to really put the not just the hard work, but the smart work that is necessary in order to do what beasts do, in order to accomplish those things, are you really ready to do that? And I'm talking to myself even when I say that. I'm not coming at you from a place of perfection when I say that. I'm coming at you from a place of encouragement, and I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be motivated and transformed by what it is that you're hearing from me, because I don't have it all together, and I don't expect any of you to have it all together. But I will say this. What beasts do, what real beasts do, is they have the self-awareness to say, you know what I'm doing right now, that's not getting it done. I got to change it up a little bit. Because in order for me to do what it is that I'm called to do, in order to do what it is that I need to do, I need to be able to take what I'm doing to the next level. I need to be able to take criticism. I need to be able to look at myself with a critical eye. And I need to be transparent. All right, I need to be able to do that in order to do what beasts do. So again, everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Look at the areas of your life and say to yourself, what are those areas of my life? What are those areas of everyday living? Maybe not just your life as an individual, but what are those areas of everyday living wherein you're not being, where people act like beasts, but they're not actually being beasts? What are those areas? You know, your prayer life, the way that you, let me stop saying your, because I'm gonna say mine, because I'm talking to me right now. My prayer life, the way that I approach my fitness, the way that I approach my interpersonal relationships, me as being the husband that I need to be, me being the father that I need to be. What are the areas of my life? And I appreciate the likes and the hearts. I really do appreciate that. What are those areas of my life where I can just stop acting like I want to be a beast and stop talking about being a beast, but actually stepping up and doing that? So once again, everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. So again, God bless you, and I pray that this has been a blessing to you. Share it with somebody else, and I will talk to you tomorrow with another episode number 11 of Motivational Moments with Dr. Marcus. Peace.